It's the Positivity podcast.
See what we did there?
Welcome to our brand new podcast where we bring you half an hour of happiness.
Kickstarting your week with us the right way.
Whether you join us on your commute,
Your weekly tidy up,
while you cook your favourite dinner,
or you listen to relax.
we've got you covered
So join me and Ellie every week
for a bit of positivity,
where we share hilarious and happy stories from around the globe.
as well as your own personal highlights.
Guaranteed to boost your mood and make you smile.
We bring your daily positivity to you, so look no further and make this positive podcast a part of your weekly routine.
And switch on the kettle and let's have a brew.
Hello and welcome to the Positivity podcast with us, Andy and Ellie. We're here every single Monday to kickstart your week the right way by spreading the positivity. We've got loads of different stories from the UK and beyond to make you smile. But Andy, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, but not good.
Okay.
I'm feeling good in general. I'm getting a sore throat on my left side.
dear.
So hopefully it's not tonsillitis, because I'll be very upset if it is. But
Well, it's all them women you've been kissing, Andy. That's how you
yes,
get it.
during
It's called the
lockdown,
kissing.
yes, that common hobby of mine.
Anyway, every single episode we have a different theme, and we asked you to get in touch last week and tell us your funny school stories. Whether it's a tale of something stupid that happened at primary school, when a fight broke out, or something juicy went off at secondary school, or it's a hilarious story from you at uni when you turned up to a class drunk. We wanted to know it all, and you told us it all.
You sure did. And if you didn't get in touch, fear not. You can always get in touch, even if you're listening to us right now. All our social medias at Andy and Ellie UK. So let's put a smile on everyone's face, no matter when you're hearing this.
Yeah, you've sold it to him, Andy. You've even sold it
Thanks.
to me.
I'm very proud.
So every single week we kick the show off by talking about some positive stories that have caught our eyes in the news that week. So we've got a really lovely one to start us off then. So Flower Power is a London-based enterprise which teaches disadvantaged women how to bake. Woo! So you're not excited, is it? You're not as excited as me.
Sorry.
Thanks, Andy. So the goods on display at the bakery in Stoke Newington, London, scream pure indulgence and pleasure, but the story behind them is anything but light. The social enterprise was founded by Alice Williams in 2014 to help women who have experienced homelessness, sexual exploitation, domestic abuse or criminal activity. People have had the hardest time getting work and reaching their potential. Well, Williams soon realised that employing them wasn't enough, so she devised a 6-month training programme that more than 50 women have now completed. And although the pandemic proved a challenge, donations from some big brands allowed Luminary, the bakery, to continue supplying trainees with what they needed to bake at home. The bakery also launched its letterbox brownies with UK-wide delivery just before lockdown, and they proved a hit with the Indulgence Hungry Bricks. Woo!
Did you get the final pun there? I don't know if you meant that. Proved.
Oh yeah.
Is
Oh
that-
my
is
gosh,
that a
you're
baking
clever.
pun?
It must
I
be.
don't bake, but I'm assuming that was. Is that deliberate? Probably
I
not.
think proved, as in when you prove something, is 2 O's and that's 1. I don't know. It would. You
Well,
are funny though.
There's the pun there anyway. Well, I've got the world's first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Have you? In what?
Wouldn't
Congrats.
you like to know? So I've got the world's first pregnancy test. I mean, I don't. Just to clarify, I don't
You're
have
pregnant.
this.
I'm
but
confused.
I'm not. I'm trying, but I just. It's tough. Okay.
Yeah, I know
Lockdown's
you
just
are, you
not
dirty
helping.
beggar. Well.
So, pregnancy test for women with sight loss. Because
Okay.
do you know what? Before reading this article, I never thought about this, but it makes pure sense. So basically, it's a pregnancy test for women with sight loss who are blind. So it's a fully accessible pregnancy test. It's a prototype at the moment, but if produced, it basically would enable everyone with sight loss, to know their result privately. Instead of somebody reading it for them, because I think that's kind of the main thing, isn't it? It's I've never thought about this. They are second to know. So the test allows the result to be felt using a large tactile area with raised bumps to indicate a pregnancy. Danielle from London was one of the women involved in the development. She said, "I've taken a pregnancy test in the past and it's been negative, and the person who has been reading it has said, oh, it's probably just as well though, isn't it?"
Oh my God.
That's horrible, isn't it? I just thought that.
She can't see properly.
Yeah,
yet.
exactly. Yeah, so it's the other person. Yeah, and I mean that's not very nice, is it?
No. It's
So the
horrible.
prototype was researched and it's been developed and created and stress tested with the blind and partially sighted community by a product designer, Josh Wasserman. What a name, Wasserman.
Was it?
Was it? It was interesting. He says it was interesting to think differently about how we can utilize the different senses maybe we don't think about as much.
Yeah.
It's very true.
That is such a story. I can honestly say I've never considered how blind people read pregnancy tests. Like, I'm so happy you found that story because it's brilliant. Yeah, no problem, Andy. Got gold star for you. Next up, we've got a story of the cutest hospital proposal ever. So, a 24-year-old man who spent Christmas alone in intensive care was able to propose to his girlfriend thanks to the help of medical staff.
Aww.
So, Jordan Simon from March in Cambridgeshire had been generally well since a heart transplant 8 years ago, but he had to go back into hospital with kidney problems on the 22nd of December 2020. Now, most hospital visits, obviously because of coronavirus, have been suspended, but Beth Dodge, the 21-year-old, was allowed to the Royal Papworth in Cambridge due to the exceptional circumstance. Mr. Simon proposed and she accepted in front of his mom and watched online by their families. He plans to leave the hospital soon after receiving treatment and the couple hope to tie the knot next year. So he says, obviously, I'd have liked it to have been a bit more romantic, but to be honest, the way it played out, it was just so lovely. So obviously he'd asked the staff saying, you know, I really want to propose to my girlfriend. Like, I don't know how long I've got left. I don't know what's going on. Because the thing is, he could survive and be absolutely fine, but it's lovely. It's a nice story.
Isn't it? So it's lovely that they can do that. I'm not getting married anytime soon, I don't think.
Do you want to get married?
Yeah, but probably not for a long while. I need a girlfriend first, Ellie. That's the first start.
Yeah, that always helps, doesn't it?
One box at a time to tick.
Yeah.
The first one's the hardest. So a 32-year-old chef. I don't know why it matters that he's a chef, to be honest with you, but there we are. Now, if you ever meet this guy, Pete McNabb, now you know he's a 32-year-old chef. So he was out for a walk in Scotland's National Park with his baby son and a friend. They spotted a group of sheep circling something. So as they drew closer, the animals scattered, revealing a tiny tabby kitten lying in the snow in rural Datherway.
Never we.
I mean, it's Scotland, so I don't quite know how to... Go on, Ellie, do a Scottish accent like Datherway.
How do you get Scotland? Datherway. That
wasn't too bad, you know.
Was it not that bad?
No, that actually wasn't too bad at all. Wasn't too bad at all. The feline was unable to get on its feet because it looked freezing and its coat was all matted with snow. Probably in shock as well, bless it, with a load of sheep circling around.
Wouldn't you be?
Yeah, I would be too. Hurdles of sheep. So, he noticed his claws were like miniature razors, and the pair joked that the little creature must be a Scottish wildcat, a rare species known to live in the Highlands. After it was left at the vet's on Wednesday, Pete began posting on local Facebook groups, but no owner came forward. The following day, the vet confirmed a specialist had in fact identified the wee tabby as a Scottish wildcat.
Oh my gosh, so it wasn't just like a cat,
No,
it was a full-on...
It was a full-on wildcat, which aren't like house pets.
No, they're not tame, are they?
No, they're very opposites. But they are close to cats, but I guess they're the closest to cats, but not happy
they are a
cats,
wild cat.
friendly cats, yeah.
Right.
Wild. So there are only 100 to 300 of this species left.
Wow.
Oh wow, that's even more rare. A rarer cat. The only wild member of a cat family in the UK is also one of the most endangered mammals in Europe. Also didn't know that. We are learning on this show. I love it. Because of a bond with the kitty, Peter and Piotr, his friend, have since begun a fundraiser to raise money for a charity helping other wildcats, which has raised more than £5,000 so far.
Wow,
Does that mean they get to keep it then? They're getting paid to keep it, or they... I don't really know. I need to look more into that.
I mean, I wouldn't have it in your house.
Oh, no, of course. No. I need to look at how big they get. I assume they get big.
Do you know what? I don't think they do. I don't think they get big like leopards or lions or panthers. They stay relatively. Oh my! But they stay relatively small. If they're they kind of look like a lynx. Do you know what that is? It's just like a bigger cat.
Bigger cat. Yeah. Gotcha.
Me and my cat encyclopedic knowledge. So moving on from our beautifully positive stories, this week we're discussing funny school stories. Now it's time for me and Andy to spill the tea and get your brew on. But we asked you to tell us yours too, and we'll get to them shortly. But like I say, this week's theme is funny school stories. So come on, Andy, let's have a brew.
Okay.
Why did you say it like that? So let's get to it then, exposing our funny school stories. So I'm going to set you off with mine first, Andy. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Thank you for your response. Very timely. So my funny school story it's to do with sixth form. So once in sixth form, on a break between mine and my friend's Molly's A-level sociology class, we decided we were going to get drunk. I nearly said a swear word then, but I'm trying to cut down on that. So it was the last day of sixth form before our actual A-level exam. So we thought, why not? And I knew it sounds ridiculous, but we didn't do it every week. So that's why it's funny, okay? I'm not an alcoholic. It wouldn't be funny if we were doing this every single week, but we weren't. So it was 9 a.m. in the morning. We hadn't got a class till 1:10 because we had 3 free periods in the morning. They were called study time or something that nobody ever used.
Also no studying involved.
Yeah, exactly. So we went and got some snacks like we usually did, but as it was the last day and we knew we weren't doing much in class, we decided that the wine was eyeing us up on that particular day. And me and Mull, we always used to have what we called Wine Fridays, which was every Friday after school, after sixth form, I should say, make myself sound a little bit older. I was 18. We'd always go and just drink ourselves into oblivion, but in her back garden, just me and her, just talking about the week. We had fun. It was never stupid, and we never did it at sixth form other than this once. So anyway, we decided to get 3 bottles between 2 of us, just a bit of light drinking. Of course, Echo full summer berries because that's the tramp standard, and we necked 1.5 each. Then we went to class.
No.
So, funnily enough, because we drank 2 bottles of wine each Friday, after sixth form anyway, we weren't levered, we weren't being stupid, we just had a serious case of what they describe in the industry as the giggles. And our best mate Georgie was looking at us laughing in disbelief, disappointed, but me and Moll thought it was hilarious. And then that evening, when we used to have Wine Fridays, I think we made it to about 10 o'clock, and then I was like, right, we need to stop now, because usually we'd just sit there till 12 and just have a drink and a laugh, but now we were getting a hangover, so we obviously never did it again. But yeah,
was that every week you were having drinks like that?
Every Friday after. No, you div.
Oh.
Every Friday we did Wine Fridays, which was after sixth form. I'd go round hers from it still wasn't good. It was 4.
Still not good for someone your age.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Every Friday, without doubt, Wine Fridays was the don for us. We loved it, but we only ever did it once at 9 in the morning. So it's okay to admit.
Yeah,
did you like that one?
I did like that one. That's very nice. And to be honest, it's just reminded me of that. I remember taking. I felt so cool. I put Smirnoff in a cup in one of my drinks once as well, and everyone was kind of like, "Oh, he's drinking."
How old were you?
I don't know. This must have been year 10, I think.
Right.
How old am I then?
So you're 15.
15 or something.
I thought you was going to say you were 18. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, A-levels. A-levels college. Yeah, you're just hardcore on the WKD. Mine's kind of embarrassing, but for those who have been listening to our podcast, it's quite common for me. But I'm into acting, right? So when I was a younger kid, I was always into acting. So for my school play, we did Joseph from Technicolor Dreamcoat. Have you seen that? Are you aware of it?
Of course I went to see it at the theatre as well.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, so I played the dad, because I guess I was the oldest. I was in year 11 that time, so I was the oldest. So I played Jacob, who plays the dad. And he has a little solo. He has this little song about his kids and things. And
sing it then.
I knew you were going to say that. I actually knew you were going to say that.
Go on, give us a little line.
My throat's hurting, you see. It's a tonsillitis, you see.
What a bad excuse.
Maybe next week. Maybe next week I'll sing a little bit.
I will pull you up on it then.
Thank you. So we're live. You know, everyone's there. All the seats are filled. It's full, and it gets to my little line, and it's basically there's no band either. The band don't play at this bit. It's literally just like a whole a cappella thing on myself.
Oh God.
And it's where he says, and he reminded me of her, and on the her, I just properly voice cracked, like beyond voice cracked. And I looked at my friend Ollie, who played Joseph at the time, and I just felt like bursting into tears the second it happened. I was so embarrassed because I just knew everyone knew that I had just done that.
How old were you?
And I knew if I was year 11, so what's that?
Oh
16?
God! So you're like 6? Yeah, that's prime female time as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
and it's just everyone's kind of just there watching, and I just knew that they knew, and I knew if I was the other way around and I was watching, I would have been in hysterics.
Oh God!
And I was just so embarrassed from then on. And then some people were like, "Oh no, we didn't hear it," but like I knew they were just saying that. They definitely heard it.
Yeah, they were just saying that. 100%.
I can do an example of it, but I'm not going to do the whole song. I'm not going to do it. I'll just do the her bit. It's like, reminded me of her.
Oh God! Oh my God!
It was so bad. It was
my God.
so bad.
And did you proper project your voice?
Yeah, we were mic'd up and everything, and it was just it's just one of those moments where you just want to leave the room and just not be seen.
You just want to leave the room.
Bury yourself in the hole.
Oh God, yeah. Andy, have you got over it now, or are you still a bit?
Yeah, I've done a few musicals since then, but
back on track.
Yeah, but still, that was a day I won't forget.
Well, do you know what? I don't think me or the listeners are going to forget either. But I'm going to see if anybody can try and one-up us now. So let's hear what you had to say about your funny school experiences.
Right, so we're moving on to our funny school experiences. If you want to share your moment while you're listening, you can still get in touch with us. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Andy and Ellie UK to be featured on the show. Ellie, what have you got?
Well, mine are a bit like on the line this week. And some of them I don't know personally, just like off my Instagram. But some of them come from my group chat. So, you know, they're pretty serious. So we'll kick off, and every segment I've got to read out, there's like 2 stories in each because I just wanted to pack them all in. So first of all, Charlie got in touch and said she once got in trouble for calling a teacher the C word, but that's about as exciting as it gets. Beth also got in touch to say that a year 10 teacher had to take time off, but I'm not laughing, because she got so annoyed that someone threw a protractor at her head. Now, I'm not too sure that that's funny because it's like full-on actual abuse, but it's a school story nonetheless.
Can I just say that I think they hit them in the head at the right angle?
Oh, you're funny. So funny, I forgot
that's
to laugh.
actually quite good. I'm actually proud of myself for that one.
Of course you are.
Ellie, you're a Harry Potter fan.
Am I?
No. But anyone else who is?
I am a bit. I don't know. I guess I am.
Well, you know, you've seen the first one at least, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so Ed... Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Are you doing the Joseph again? I'm keeping that in, so you may as well get cracking on what you've got to say, Andy.
So Ed and his sixth form friends decided it would be fun to burst into the school hall during an assembly, and they shouted this famous scene in the first Harry Potter. "There's a troll in the dungeon!" And basically they all then fainted. What? The students laughed, because, I mean, you would. Harry Potter probably just came out at that time anyway, so it's probably perfect timing, and everyone knew what that scene was from. However, the teacher was not so amused and ended up giving them all detention.
I think that's funny, though. I would have liked that.
I would have
laughed. That's a good one.
Yeah. You've got to have a bit of balls to do that. Do you know what I mean? Going in and ruining
How many balls have you got? Do you need to have for that? How many balls would
12.
you say? Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have a bit of courage for that.
Georgia got in touch to say her friend Dowie once gave everyone 50p to sign a petition to get rid of a year 10 or 11 science teacher. She had a really bad habit of not actually teaching anything, just saying open the book and do the activities. So not good at all. And apparently she could have done it from home, so useless. But the teacher did not get sacked, but she did get moved from that class.
Oh, that's good. Did she get to keep everyone's 50p's?
No, she didn't get the 50p's your fool. Dowie did. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean, Dowie.
Yeah, of course they did.
That's a business idea. Yeah.
Jamie got in touch to say that once the teacher had left the classroom in year 8, and because she'd been awful to the class, they all decided to turn their chairs so they were facing the back of the classroom and didn't turn back for the whole lesson. Apparently she cried.
Oh,
ooh.
Bless
Don't
her.
know the circumstance, but she could have been horrible, Andy, you never know.
But yeah, that is true. There was always been a horrible teacher, and there's always been a clueless one as well. I think like, they're very stereotypical teachers. Do you know what I mean?
But do you know what? Being now lecturing, I could never imagine being that especially a nasty one. Because I remember, and it's so true. Like things that happen in your early life do affect you when you go on. And I'm not meaning this in a sob story way because it's really not that deep. But I remember being in year 2 and I had a teacher called Mrs. Bearton. And once I'd gone to the toilet and my friend Will had followed me. And I think I'd gone in the girls' toilets and then he'd like open the door to come in as a joke. Not into my cubicle, obviously, but just to open the door. And so I screamed, like messing around. And then a teacher came and was like, why are you screaming? Why are you screaming? And then took me to my classroom and said to Mrs. Bearton, like, oh, yeah, Ellie was just screaming in the toilet. And I just think, looking back, I'm like, what the hell? And then Mrs. Bearton, in front of everyone in the class, remember it to this day, so I must have been about 7 or 8, because I was in year 2, Ellie, how dare you scream? And I thought, how ironic that you're shouting at an 8-year-old saying, how dare you scream?
Yeah.
And stuff like that really annoys me because if there were a few things that got said to me in school and you just think that's dodged.
It definitely kind of then changes your output as well, doesn't it? You then think, oh, well, sod you then. I'm that kind of guy who got told off. If I ever got told off by a teacher, I'd then hate them for the next 2 weeks. I'd be stubborn as hell back to them. I'd be like, yeah, well, screw you. You shouted at me, so... That's what you
Sometimes it's like fine though. I think if somebody's disrespected you to that extent, like I just wish there were a few primary school teachers that I wish I could just go back to and just say, "How dare you spoke to me like that?" Because I wouldn't even dream of speaking to my. I've got students from 16 to 20. I wouldn't talk to them like any rude way.
Back to kind of well, I mean they're all school memories, but do you ever remember watching Bernard's Watch?
No, what's that?
No, what? Where have you been, man? CBBC, right? Every night. Without fail, Bernard's Watch. It was basically a guy who could freeze time.
Wait, that actually does ring a bell, actually.
Yeah?
Maybe I just didn't know.
He used to have like a little pocket watch his grandpa gave him.
While you're talking to me, I'm Googling it.
Okay, good.
Oh my God, yeah.
You might remember
hang on a minute.
So,
you tell me.
My friend Jack went to the same school with the guy who played Bernard in Bernard's Watch. So one day, lots of people basically found this fact out. So it's pretty much the first kind of week of school happening. You know, everyone was like, "Oh wait, this is the guy, you know, from this CBBC show." And obviously they all watched it as well. So anyway, so one lunch, around over 50 people had arranged to meet in the canteen, looking busy and doing proactive stuff and moving around and stuff. So when he came in, the guy who played Bernard, I don't know his name actually. I don't know why he didn't. Jack, give us his name. And when he came in,
find out.
Yeah, go find out. So basically, when he came in, everyone froze. So everyone who was in on the joke just froze as if Bernard had stopped time. He didn't see the funny part of it, but I feel like I would have found that that would have been brilliant.
I'd be a bit freaked out. I think he's called David Peachy.
David
but
Peachy.
I might be wrong.
I know there's 2 different versions. There's a really old version and then there's a modern version.
There's a newer one. I don't know. Anyway, we shan't stalk this young child. He's probably grown up and got hooked on drugs like they all do. No, I'm really joking. So Lauren got in touch to say she called her Spanish teacher an alcoholic on Twitter and then she got barred from prom. I can vouch for this because she went to my school. I won't go into too many details even though I've spilled them all there. So I can confirm she did eventually go, but it took a lot of persuading. The moral of the story is your school will stalk you on Twitter, so don't put whack on there, don't put smack on there. Molly got in touch to say her and her friend Beth have their faces proudly on the staff notice board at their secondary school as, and I quote, troubled children, when they aren't at all. They just misbehave sometimes for a laugh. Bizarre.
Troubled children. That's what they call
children.
it.
Yeah,
that's
seriously.
Like a most wanted poster, but troubled children. That's bad,
pounds,
isn't it?
It is bad.
When you kind of think 10 years ago, you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
No, 100%.
Get away with that now and things like that. Emma said that when she was in year 8, she rushed to stand up with her friend to walk out the classroom for something, but her foot got caught on her bag strap.
Oh no!
She fell backwards. and her foot went straight up in the air. Her shoe came off and landed at the back of a class and someone's desk. But it kind of landed so perfectly, but it was a 1 in a million. It's funny, right? I can see it now. Like, it doesn't sound like it's funny, but if you just see a shoe just plop, like, perfectly land on your desk, like I would just laugh. I'd be like, oh, hello, there's a shoe here.
Hello there. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it doesn't sound as funny, but I do appreciate it, Emma. Thank you very much. That was quite funny.
I think that's funny, Emma. Well done to you. Another Molly got in touch. I promise this isn't lies. I know that. I don't know if there was like a baby boom in the late 1990s and everyone just called Molly. But she said her and her friend used to get in trouble for smoking e-cigs under the desks at secondary school in her ICT classes. Well, lol to that. Erica also got in touch to say she and her friends got in trouble in secondary school for smoking and sunbathing on the field when they should have been in a lesson, and 5 teachers came to find them, and instead of complying and walking back in, they all ran off in different directions and thought it was hilarious. Full on wild goose chase.
Ryan said that he had a poor breakfast, so when they had an assembly, what was about to happen was bound to happen, and you could already tell what was going to happen.
Yeah.
When it was very quiet, he really needed to trump, right? Pooped. No, he didn't. He didn't. It's kind of worse, really, I think. Oh, I don't know what is worse. We'll discuss that after this. So he tried to discreetly trump, but instead meant that he made a loud noise instead. But it got worse because it followed up with a bad smell. So you got the loud noise. Everyone kind of looked around like, whoa, clearly somebody did that.
Trying to blame it on someone else.
Yeah, exactly. But everyone around him knew it was him, and they circled away out of him. So they pushed away, and they just kind of left him in the middle, by himself, kind of like isolating him.
Oh, that's sad.
I don't know what's worse, if doing that or kind of letting one go. I think
let one rip. I don't know. I just wouldn't.
I'd be so embarrassed, bless.
I think there's a time and a place, and defo never, even if you think people won't notice. Like, I'd notice sometimes where if you go to parties and stuff, some people tend to trump a lot because they've had a drink and they think no one will notice, and it's like, no, we do. So thanks for those guys. They were brilliant. And if you want your cup of positivity, because that's what we call it, regardless of the theme, it's your cup of positivity featured on the show, then what are you waiting for? Drop us a message and give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter at Andy and Ellie UK, or email us andyandellieuk@gmail.com. But remember, at the end of the episode, we will tell you what next week's theme is. Now, not everyone seems to share the same excitement when it comes to positivity. Sometimes maybe you felt a bit annoyed that someone is so overly happy, or something has happened which you really should be quite pleased about, but you're not really. So Overrude is a great section of the show where we just let it all out and discuss some things that everybody else seems to get excited about or they're happy about, but really it just annoys you. Of course, it would make sense to link it in with this week's theme. So, Andy?
Yes, so in my primary school, we had the classic light projectors.
Yeah,
right?
same.
And it was kind of a rota, and you had to be like the teacher's pet to be able to do it. But what would always kind of annoy me is when somebody was doing it, we had the old... So I don't know about you, because I know a bit of an age difference. Well, 4 years, isn't there? So it's not too many.
We had this.
You had this too? Okay, so it was projectors where it was kind of like see-through paper, kind of reflected, I don't know what you call it, like plastic kind of sheets for like the lyrics and songs.
Like laminate, yeah.
Yeah, and the projector was like one of those light reflected ones rather than modern ones. So the annoying thing is, we had to watch the kid do it, and it's not a problem watching the kid do it, but when you look on a projector you then see his dirty fingernails because it's just projecting, showing from that, and they just have zero idea, and they're just it's just grim looking at. And we would always judge everyone's fingernails each week, like who's got the worst ones.
Oh my god!
So that kind of irks me.
Well, this is going to make you feel sick. I was once the person who did the projector, only once, and to this day I think, why would you do that? I followed my finger every time people were singing. So I don't know if you saw this, but we had a song that went cauliflower's fluffy and cabbage's green, strawberries sweeter than any I've seen. Is there a delay here?
There's a delay because I kind of forgot the words. I remember
it. Well, what I did was every single note, every word, I put my finger on it, like under it, which just makes me cringe. Anyway, no to that. So my overrude for this week, of course, links in with the theme of school. Now, some people think, right, that it's a great thing that there's a dress code at school. It means everybody looks the same, so you're less likely to get bullied. Or, I mean, that's meant to be the point, isn't it? Everybody looks inclusive, everyone looks the same. And I get that. But what annoys me about school dress codes is the piercing, makeup and hair rules. Because when I was 14, I had jet black hair. I had it hairsprayed to the heavens, I once had it so bad that I remember crossing the road to get the bus to school, and a bee flew in my hair and it got stuck, and I had to pull it out because it was stuck from all the hairspray in my hair, so that's gross. Anyway, if you ever got told off for wearing makeup, usually it was on the way to assembly, people would be like, or the teachers say, go and wash that off with water. Like, what? This is quality makeup, fella. It's not going to come off with a bit of water. It needs more than that. So I just look stupid and I look like a panda. And I get told off for it. And you might say, well, why did you wear it then? Well, I did it because I genuinely felt, sob story, I've genuinely felt so self-conscious. And yes, that's my own problem. But it was to the point that I wouldn't be able to focus. If my face was bare, I'd think people are looking at me. So I always wore it. I get like I'm feeding my own anxiety by saying I can't function without makeup. But telling me to rub it off with a tissue and water so I look even more stupid and therefore I'm even more self-conscious will not help. Realistically, I think as long as it's not like fake eyelashes and red lipstick when you're 14, wearing a bit is fine.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And totally agree as if I'm here doing it myself, but I'm not.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely remember that as well. People were saying, oh, go wash it off with water. But I'm like, that really would just make it worse, surely. And
it looks stupid.
Yeah. It was great seeing everyone with orange lines around their face, though. Like, back in the day before blenders and stuff like that, you know.
The full-on orange makeup.
Tangerines.
I was victim to that as well. I was victim to that. So coming up towards the end of the show, we always want to pour some sugar in the form of a positive story that caught our attention from across the globe. So let's go. This is Pour Some Sugar.
So on New Year's Day, the 48-year-old Fast and Furious star, also known as The Rock, which is a great actor. I love him. He's very funny in all his films he's in. He visited his pal, Bruno Lure. Rock initially greeted his friend with, "Hey, you son of a gun." She's like the American accent. That was good, wasn't it? Dwayne yelled across the parking lot, but it was just a tone of just, friendliness and stuff like that, which some people might kind of... He did it in quite an aggressive way, but people, because he's quite a big bloke, big muscular bloke. Basically, it turns out that Bruno took The Rock when he was homeless as a teen. So The Rock, before his acting career, he was homeless and stuff. Basically, 9 years later, after Rock fell on hard times once again while trying to make his name as a wrestler, Bruno came again to the rescue and said he could live in his trailer, which is very nice. Yeah, so The Rock says, "I love you, brother," and basically bought him a whole new Ford car and said, "Your kindness and heart helped change my life. And when you're ready to retire from the business, you just say the words, I got you covered." Isn't that nice?
That's lovely.
I know it's a little bit of a famous story there, but it's just nice, isn't it? Like, how many... You don't think these actors have come from, like, nowhere, like the bottom up. And it's nice that people are always there and trust in people they don't know as well.
Yes, be kind to people and they will repay you at some point in life. Well, from America, we're now going over to Ukraine, Somalia and Cambodia for this one. A story of how making face masks is supporting people living in war zones. So Ukraine, Somalia and Colombia may be dissimilar in climate and culture, but they share a history of conflict and trauma. Now, artisans from 3 nations are creating face masks in a project designed to support their fragile livelihoods. So Ishkar is a social enterprise that champions craftspeople in places affected by war. Its peace masks feature 3 designs: a rainbow pattern made in eastern Ukraine, one in Somalia's traditional fabric made in Mogadishu, and a design created by Abera Nika, a cooperative set by the Abera Catio indigenous community in Colombia. Well, the latter features symbols associated with the region's traditional medicine, and the masks are made of siro. And from starting out online, it's now a physical shop, and Ishkar has expanded to also run events, photography courses, and since 2019, guided trips around the world. So people buying these masks masks are actually helping people. It's brilliant.
Oh, that is nice.
Don't go anywhere though, because on next week's show,
Valentine's stories, but we're going to be a little bit more specific for next week, and it's going to be things that you found about your other half that they did not share at the start.
yes.
So anything that kind of annoys you now, or anything funny that they do which you just didn't expect them to be doing.
Yeah, embarrass your other half. Tell us something that when you first got together, you know, that you had no idea that that's what they got up to, if that's how they brush their teeth or that's how they wash. Something really weird. We don't mind. It can be funny, it can be bad, it can be, I don't even know. Just go to town on it, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Bye.